AgWeek weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
What will the weather have in store for us as we enter the month of May? Here's John with our Agri-weather outlook.
All right, May weather in full swing across the United States. Frankly, it's May everywhere, right? But in our case, it's May weather. It's actually turned a little bit wetter across much of the northern plains region, much of the Great Plains, in fact, which had been a little dry. It's turned quite stormy in the central and southern Great Plains and just wet in the northern Great Plains. And the weather is kind of after some swings earlier in March and April when we were having some drier weather. The temperature pattern in most of the Great Plains is kind of tempered. We're seeing seasonal temperatures over most of this area. The rain is falling now in the form of showers and thunderstorms. Getting up into the northern plains, it's not a lot of severe weather yet, but from Iowa, Nebraska southward, there have been plenty of strong thunderstorms. And the temperatures, as I said, have been much more even and look to stay that way as we get on into the middle part of the month of May. Polar jet stream is going south, but it's a fairly weak jet stream today. Kind of a little bit of meandering this weekend. There's a temporary warm up here after what had been a fairly cool week, but this west coast trough will again be building in, so the temperatures are not going to stay very warm in the northern plains. The one part of the country that's going to get some pretty toasty weather is from Texas across to Georgia and Florida, where there will be some 90s, probably quite a few days in the lower and mid 90s this week. The first outbreak, you would say, of summery temperatures in the old South. Cool weather in the northern Rockies and the higher elevations. It will be cold enough for some areas of pretty heavy snow as far south as Colorado. And somewhat cool temperatures will bleed out of that into the western high plains. There will be an attempt at another ridge, but I suspect that this troughiness will generally win out, which will keep the northern plains region somewhere around cool to mild. The hot weather will remain right along that Gulf Coast belt. Going into the second week, now the middle part of May, the warm weather keeps trying to build in, but we keep on with this train of weather systems across the northern plains, and the wet weather is just not going to let it get terribly warm. Now, as far as precipitation goes, this week there will be some significant precipitation, Pacific Northwest, the Rockies, where it will be mostly in the form of snow. Lower elevations will probably be some rain. Showers and thunderstorms early in the week breaking out in the northern plains. Then we get just a few sprinkles, but the weather, there will be several waves across the Corn Belt of showers and thunder showers, and probably one or two of those, especially in the central plains. Southern plains will actually be producing another severe weather round. And it still looks pretty wet into the middle chunk of May over most of the northern plains, central plains, and the Corn Belt.